One. Hello, we are live. How is everyone doing? I have my incredible coach, Amanda King, here with us today. And thank you, Amanda, for joining us to share all of her beautiful knowledge about human design. I know it has changed not only my business, but how I function in life. So this is Amanda King, and I'm sure you guys, I talk about her all the time. So if you don't know who Amanda is by now, I'm not quite sure, but would you introduce yourself and kind of just tell us what is human design? Because people might not even know what the H it is.
Yeah, so I'll give you my description of human design, because when you get into human design, it unpacks many layers. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda King. I'm a women's empowerment and business coach, and I teach women how to use human design to live an orgasmically satisfying life. I know, it's a new hook, man. I'm trying it out.
I like it.
But yeah, so a little bit about human design. It came around about 1987. Whoa, look at little people's comments pop up on this and everything. Around 1987, and it is a combination of like I Ching, Kabbalah, astrology, quantum physics. I may be forgetting one, but it's like so much in one, right? So I like to say it's a good combination of spirituality with science base as well. So a lot of people who normally aren't into the woo-woo aspect of life really like human design, because there's such a science, like quantum physics portion of it. And so that's like the basic generic definition of human design. What I believe human design is it's a way of showing you the most authentic version of yourself. It is the way that you were put on this planet. Literally, the chart, you get a human design chart, you go in to Jovian Records and you put in a few like pieces of information, your birth date, your birth time, you put in the birth city, state, and country. And then when you do that, it comes up and it brings your chart. There's 5 different energy types. You'll be one of the 5. There is no others. So don't feel like I'm going to be like this random energy type. No, there are 5 different energy types. You will end up figuring out which one you are. It'll tell you right in the description. And then it will give you something that looks really awkward looking. It's going to be like, it's basically an outline with a whole bunch of squares and triangles. And each of those squares and triangles represent centers, and they're based on the chakra system. I forgot what it was, a chakra system. And there's 9 centers within the body. And so basically when you first start learning human design, you look at this chart and you're like, this is a hot jumbled mess. I don't know what the fuck it is. So the basic, most generic definition I can give you, it's like every single person is born on this planet uniquely different. And human design showcases that. Every single humans, no matter what, identical twins have different designs. They have different gates highlighted depending on the time of their birth. That's why the time of birth is so important. And it's completely different. And it just shows you the most raw, authentic form of being you on this planet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's been, well, like what I love about working with Amanda is she takes my human design and it's like asking how you ask me questions, how you handle frustrations that I come to you with. It's like each client gets this unique blueprint of how
to
do it. So could you talk just a little bit on what the different types are? Like,
yeah. So Justine said, like, I love human design and I love using it with my clients because it is literally like a window into their soul. It is a way to get to know your clients on a soul level. It's a way to get to know your clients in a way that they don't even know themselves fully. They have an inclination of it. They believe that they were put on this planet for a purpose, for a reason, and that they are exactly how they are. But then they go through life and they go through conditioning. And so they end up stepping way out of alignment with themselves. And so as their coach, having their chart in front of you gives you a preview into their soul. It allows you to help work them through the conditioning that they face to really step into alignment, or as I call it, like epic badassery of each and every single human being. And so when you figure out your human design, there are 5 energy types. So we talk about generators. Generators and Mani-Gens make up about 70% of the population. Generators are like the worker bees, although bitches, we all queen bees, but they are like, we are the worker bees of the population of the collective. So we are here to do the fucking work. We are here to get shit done. We are the get shit done people. You have the Mani-Gens, who are a hybrid of 2 different energy types. So they are a hybrid of manifestors and generators. They're called manifesting generators. So they're the hybrid. If you watch the originals and it's like the vampire werewolf hybrid or Vampire Diaries, that is what a Mani-Gen is. And so basically they're a combination of 2 different energy types, which is really cool because they get like double the superhuman powers, but also sometimes double the limiting beliefs, double the way they need to respond to things. Like they literally have to do everything pretty much like double. But they are definitely the, how do I say this? They are the multitaskers of the universe. They are the people who are like, I'm going to have my hand in 18 fucking honeypots and I'm going to kill it while doing it. They're the multitaskers where they don't really, if they're in alignment, they don't get overwhelmed with it. They just love being busy. They love having their hands in everything. Multi-passionate is a big way to describe Mani-Gens. It's like they don't want to niche down because they feel that what they have to teach is just it's too many things to just pick one thing.
Right.
Then you get on the manifestor side of them. So one of the energy types are manifestors. These are my like rebellious bitches in the best way possible. These women are the people who sometimes when they were growing up were labeled as like problem children because they were argumentative, because they knew who they were, they knew what they wanted, and they didn't like when people told them no. And so these are like manifesting women are very, very strong-willed, powerful women. But unfortunately, a lot of people will see that power that is inside of them and take advantage of it and use that power. And so manifestors really do sometimes struggle with trusting people. They struggle with not being taken advantage of. They struggle with really owning their fucking visions because they're like literally a channel for ideas. And so they get these big, huge visions and people think they're unrealistic. And they're like, no, bitch, you can't do that. And they're like, but no, watch me. Like, I will. And so manifestors are huge and they're powerful. And then on the other side almost of the spectrum, we have our projectors. Our projectors are here to show the rest of the world, chill the fuck out, right? They're here to slow down the generators, the manifestors, and the Mani-Gens of the world. They're here to show people that it is time to slow down. It is time to relax. It's time to be present in life and be able to make a lot of fucking money doing it. Some of the biggest coaches in the industry are actually projectors, and a lot of people don't think you can be a successful projector. Lauren Liz Love is a projector. Jen Casey is a projector. Kate Dramis is a projector. These are people who are throwing down $30, $40, $190,000 launches. Like, you can be extremely successful as a projector on your own fucking terms, which is just so powerful. But they are the advice givers. They are the people who they offer their service in the form of advice. However, if they are not invited to give that advice, a lot of conditioning that may show up are them being told that they're know-it-alls, being told that they're giving unsolicited advice, which leads to them getting bitter because they're just trying. Am I still here?
Yep.
Okay. It was like 3, 2, 1, drop the knowledge.
What are you counting on?
I was like, it just knew. It knew some knowledge was about to come. But then we have our reflectors, and our reflectors are like a completely open chart. If you look at a chart of a reflector, everything will be, all of their centers will be white. And that's so powerful. Reflectors are some of the deepest, wisest people you will know because they are literally a karmic mirror to the rest of the population, meaning that when one is in true like epic badassery, they can reflect and amplify your own shit onto you. So a lot of reflectors are people who like, end up having they're the advice giver, right, of the group, because they're just so wise and they're so deep. They're the person that everyone comes to when they're having problems. And the best way that they are able to help with these problems is just to allow themselves to be fully open and reflect exactly what that person needs in this moment at this time. And so they're extremely powerful beings, but being out of alignment with being a reflector, since you are so open to everything and anything, you can become heavily conditioned and influenced by those around you, especially your parents. So a lot of reflectors will take on their parents' personality for the first 18 years of their life, and they become their parents. Some reflectors will end up staying close to home because of this. They won't go away to college because they're so afraid of who they are outside their parents. And then with reflectors too, there will be sometimes where you see huge shifts in personality, because when they're out of alignment, they will take on the personality of whoever is closest to them, which unfortunately sometimes has them living out other people's dreams and desires.
Right. And that conditioning is so good because, well, my little sister, she just had twins. Her and her husband had twins, and she's now staying at home. She was a nurse, but she decided not to go back to work. And she was feeling really down on herself. She's like, I feel so lazy, but I'm so exhausted, and I can't handle being around people. I'm like, I have to know what your human design is. I just have to know it. She's an emotional projector.
Really?
Yes. So when I was with her this weekend, we were talking about it, and I was like going through her chart with her, and she started crying, and she's like, I thought like I was going to have to get on meds, or, like I thought I was crazy or lazy, because her husband is 1000% generator, where she's like, I need a minute. And she goes to bed first, and she kind of did the projector stuff, but it can change someone's life.
It is. Yeah.
Mine, I know 1000%.
It's huge to see like how heavily influenced some people are when they find out their human design and they're like, wait, no, this isn't me. Yeah. A lot of people it's like, you either get, holy shit, this describes me better than I've ever been. Like, how do they know this, right? Like, how do they know who I am? How do they know me on this level? But on the opposite side, you also get people who are sitting here and being like, ugh, like, I don't relate to this at all. This doesn't make sense. This isn't me. And that's because these people are so heavily conditioned to the people around them. So if a projector who is very open, say like an emotional projector, a splenic projector, a mental authority projector, whenever they're completely open in the bottom pretty much.
Yeah.
And so if they are surrounded by a generator, they will literally try to take on the energy of a generator. Sometimes, and I was talking about this in my masterclass, like sometimes projectors can't even sleep in the same bed as generators, because their energy, a generator's energy is very strong. I'm a generator. I'm like fucking in your face all the time, right? And so for someone who's a projector, having all of that energy thrown onto them, they either are able to stay in alignment with who they are in their design and be like, okay, this is okay. I'm still going to be calm. Or they're like, no, I need to emulate this exact person. And so they do. And then they end up finding out, because projectors aren't meant to keep up with generators. Oh my God, I'm burnt out. I'm so tired. Then they think that they're fucking lazy. They think that they're not doing enough. They're not showing up enough. They're not good enough. And it causes this really terrible downward spiral. And it's unfair to them. And that's why human design is so powerful, because when you start learning your human design, you also start learning kind of the red flags of when you are starting to lean really out of alignment. Like this morning, I was talking about feeling the need to, like, I recognized I felt like I was showing up to prove myself. Like I had to prove my relevance in this world. I had to prove that I didn't go anywhere. Like, and I noticed I kept thinking like, oh, I got to prove. And I'm like, that is so out of alignment with a defined ego center. Like, I don't need to fucking prove anything. I want it. I get it. It exists. And so it's like recognizing your own language as well when you start learning your human design. Like Justine and I had a conversation a few weeks ago in a one-on-one call where she was like, I think. I'm like, you're not meant to think. And that's a conditioning for all energy types, right? We're told growing up that we have to think things through. Why didn't you think about that first before you acted? Get back in your head. You need to start thinking things through. And that's huge conditioning, because even if we're defined in those areas, your head center and your ajna, no motherfucker belongs in there.
Yeah.
We all belong in our bodies. We all belong tapping into our authorities. Even if you were a mental authority or a reflector who's a lunar cycle kind of authority, like, it's still about being in your body. No one belongs in their head. And so a lot of women, especially, they get like tapping into their intuition at a young age, right? And we're like, oh, what's that feeling? I move. And we don't think about it. We just respond to it, right? And sometimes that leads to really great shit happening. But when it doesn't, and people call us out on that shit, it is, why didn't you think that through? And so we end up thinking way too fucking much rather than feeling rather than like figuring out if it's healthy for us, whether or not feeling like tapping into that sacral yes or no. We get stuck up here, and none of us belong there. And it's no fucking good when you're up here, because it actually ends up hindering your process in life and business, because when you're too in your head, you're not in your body, and we always belong in our body.
Right. And I'm really, really grateful that you like took off on human design when you did, especially with how the world is right now. Like, holy shit, is it easy to get in your head right now?
Oh my God, yeah.
And just being able to, like, my report's right here. Like, it is literally on my desk all day long. Because it's like I can now acknowledge when I'm in my head. And that's when I have to get up and dance. Amanda and I were on a call, and she's like, I think it was the same one about me thinking. She's like, get up and jump. And that's what I did. And, you know, it just gets you back into your body. How have you noticed getting acquired with your human design? How has it helped you in your business?
Well, I will say, one, it completely shifted my fucking business, because up until this point, I taught mindset, authenticity, and business. Basically authenticity in life and in business. And I started feeling really just fucked up this year. Like, 2019, for those of you who don't know, was an amazing year of just quantum leaps for me. And that's because unknowingly, I was 100% living in my human design. I was aligned in every aspect of my human design. When 2020 rolled around, it was like, I felt like I was treading water for 6+ months. Like, oh, everything I was putting out, I was second guessing. I was feeling I had to show up differently. I had to show up more evolved. I had to be this. I had to be that. I signed up with so many coaches that they really started influencing the way I was thinking, the way I was showing up, which, my bad, like, that's what happens when you're fully undefined in your head and your ajna. And so I was really kind of just pitter-pattering around, and my human design mentor came in and taught a class, and master class I was in. And in 7 minutes, she described me to a T, never meeting me before. And I was like, what is this fucking witchery? Like, what is this? And I had known about human design, but honestly had gotten a really bad vibe over human design, because the only time I heard about human design was when people would always say something like, oh, well, I can't do that because of my design. I can't do that because I'm a manifestor. I can't schedule because I'm a manifestor. And that really irked me, because I was like, why do we put ourselves in boxes all of the time, right? The second we find out something cool and new, we end up, in a way, throwing ourselves into a box again. And so I kind of had a really negative attitude towards it. But after the 7 minutes with my human design mentor, I was blown the fuck away. And so I signed up for an even more in-depth reading. And it was a 2-hour reading where the whole time, I kid you not, I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Like, I watched the replay and I said, holy shit, like 18 times, because it was like, literally, she was peering into my soul. She was able to tell me things that, like, my family had made like little quirks and jokes about, right? And so it was insane. And so when I learned about it, I was like, holy shit, I need to learn more about this. I need to develop it. And I've also been stepping a little bit more into the woo-woo, and it's definitely a bit more down the spiritual realm. And I started learning it and I started implementing it, and it just gets better and better and better. And at first I didn't really know if I wanted to make it a part of my brand. but it ended up being a really natural progression where it was just like, this all happened so I could find this and be able to bring this to the masses in my own Amanda King style, and relate it to people who think that the traditional teachings are very stuffy and they're very like, y'all can go buy the blue book and you can buy the red book. There's 2 books. Everyone knows about them. You can buy them and you can read them, but mostly you'll be like, huh? What?
Right.
I don't get that. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? And so being able to interpret that bullshit in my way and be able to bring it to the masses in like my vernacular, my slang, and bring it more into modern times has been like the best joy of human design. Being able to sit there and be like, yeah, if I'm going to think of a song for manifestors, it's going to be Billy Idol's like Rebel Yell. If I'm going to think of a song for Manny Gens and Generators, it's going to be like Turn Me On with Nicki Minaj. Like, and being able to bring it to modern era where we can really apply it to life and in business is huge. And it's shifted my business as well. Like, I'm doing a mastermind starting at the end of September, all human design based. And I was like, I'm not going to teach this shit. But after seeing it with Justine in action on our one-on-one calls, seeing it with my other clients coming to their one-on-one calls and seeing their design and being able to coach them through their troubles, their worries, their limiting beliefs, their self-doubts, all because I could see them at this level that they felt like they were being fucking seen. And all of a sudden, all these huge breakthroughs started to happen on calls. Like, everyone just kept coming off the call and they're like, whoa, like, thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing me. And so I felt like that was the universe's way of being like, you need to create something that literally just focuses on human design on a one-on-one level. And so I did. And so it literally changed my entire business.
Yeah. And you just like beam when you talk human design. Like, you get all excited. Like, it is like, oh, I just love it. I love it so, so much. So if any of the ladies in here want to get a little bit closer with you and human design, how would they do that?
Yeah, so I do a lot of my human design stuff on Instagram at Fierce as Fuck Tribe, as well as in my group, Fierce as Fuck. You can join there. I also do master classes. I recently just did one in August. We had like 51 women sign up for it. It was awesome. It's called the Authentic as Fuck Human Design Masterclass. That will be up on my website by the end of the week, but you can personally message me and I can give you the link to sign up. And I'm actually doing a business class. We haven't officially launched it. It's like we literally just named it today, and only the people in my Facebook group and the ladies who signed up for the last one heard about it. But it's called Bitchin' Business by Design. It is going to be a human design masterclass focused towards business and the 5 energy types. So like how I run my business as a generator versus a projector, like Justine and I are talking about, because they need to run their business completely different. How do I run a successful business being a reflector? Like, how does that work for me? How do I not pick up the energy of other people? And so that masterclass is on Monday, September 21st. And that's $111. And you can message me if you guys want the link to sign up for that as well.
Yay. I'm so excited. Even like, you know, I learned all about Manny Gens because that's what I am. But my family, we're all different. We're 4 of the 5 types. So
and that's what I was like, human design, yes, you can use it in business 100%. In your own life, yes. But human design opens the lines up for communication because you start understanding people better. So like Justine is a Manny Gen mom. She is a manifestor daughter, a projector son, and generator. Justin's a generator. Yeah. So like those dynamics alone, Justine has to basically, if she was having the same conversation with her son and her daughter, it won't hit with both of them. So it's more about learning how to communicate, especially with kids as well. Like on a level where you are not pushing your limiting beliefs and your conditioning on them, but you are teaching them to tap into that themselves, to be able to look inside and be like, oh, I probably made a wrong decision there. Now, why did I make that decision? Rather than pushing on, oh, well, you should have thought that through. You should have done better. You know better. It's more about like teaching, like them how to really tap into their intuition so that they're not ignoring it as they get older. And even if you're in a relationship, holy shit, does it change the way that you fucking interact with your other people? Because Justine and I are both undefined in our solar plexus, and Justin's defined in his, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Justin, her husband, and my fiance are both defined in those areas. So when they go through emotional waves, we feel it. Mm-hmm. And so out of alignment in our center in the solar plexus, which is like your emotional intelligence, will throw us through their emotional wave, which will all of a sudden will be completely fine. And the second they come into the room and they're like, fuck life, I hate everything, we can both either be like, oh, I'm sorry, let me help you through that. That's in alignment. But out of alignment, we're like, let's burn it down. And then they walk out and we're like, fuck life. What the fuck? I was fine 30 seconds later. And now like, I want to just like light my business on fire. That's not good. It's not. It's so important when you learn about everyone else's design compared to your own and how their energy will totally affect you. And it's like figuring out like the warning signs, the red flags, the you're out of alignment signs, I think is the biggest, most powerful thing as far as human design goes.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And I love you so much.
I love you.
Yes. I mean, if anyone, Amanda, I would trust every single one of my people with, because you have just like taken me through the transformation of a freaking lifetime. And it's like human design has taken that like to the next step.
Yeah.
And so I am so grateful for you and discovering human design, because
it literally, like, a lot of people can get overwhelmed with it when they first start learning about it, because like it's so overwhelming, right? There's so much information. And yes, you can Google things. You can go online and Google a generator, but are you going to be able to understand everything that it's saying? No. And that's where so many people get overwhelmed and are like, well, this is a bunch of poppycock. Don't even know where that word came from, because I never used that word. Poppycock. This is bullshit. Like, this is, I don't like this. This makes me feel overwhelmed looking at it. But then having someone who can break it down into your language to where you're like, oh yeah, like this is why you're feeling that way. That is what's so powerful about it. So if you're just stepping into human design, know that like, try not to get stuck in the overwhelm. Sign up with coaches that speak and teach to a language that you can really relate to. So like coaches that say something and it hits with you, sign up with them, learn from them, because that's how you're going to best interpret it. If that's me, great. If not, fine by me. Find a voice that's going to make it make sense to you. Because if the way I relate things isn't hitting you, it's not going to hit you, no matter how much money you pay, right? So if you find a human design coach that is everything she says, you're like, oh my God, I get it. Like, I get it. And that's how you're going to learn the best way. Like, follow her content, go sign up for her email list, grab her freemium, sign up in her masterclass. Learn that way rather than Googling, because Googling will lead you to being like, what the absolute fuck is this shit?
Yeah, because they use a lot of like
weird, trippy language.
Yeah, and it's all like old and
like even Justine and I were talking about her design, because it's actually pretty funny. She has, I think it's gate 22, which is called Grace. And Justine's ideal client avatar from day one has been named Grace. Day one. So when we found out she had this gate defined, I like legit almost pissed my pants. I was like, what the fuck up? But then I was trying to explain what it meant to her. And I'm like looking at this and I'm like, how do I, like, this doesn't even make sense to me. And it just means that like everything she does with an ounce of grace. Like anything she touches, any person she comes into contact with, she is graceful. She is like, I always say, like, if you think of a royal family, how the queen is just like a good queen is just so graceful, right? Everything she touches, even when she's powerful and she's taking over the world, she does it with a sense of grace. And that's what having that gate is defined means. But then you read the vernacular they use and you're like, what the fuck does this even mean? You can't comprehend it. It's very ancient language is what I like to say.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I use my report all the time, Amanda. did for me. And I live by it. It's my Bible that stays right here by me all day long.
When I got mine read, I will say, like, mine came with a big document as well. And basically I have like that whiteboard behind me. If you can see it all the way in the back, that's actually all of my human design stuff written on a board. Because I basically says, remember the badass you are. And so during this time when I discovered human design, I was just very much treading water. And I needed that reminder of like, hey, I'm a fucking powerhouse. And so I went through and wrote down every single positive of my chart, right? Because we don't want to focus on the shadows. We will get into shadows. There's a shadow with everything. But when you recognize like each individual human being is a powerful motherfucker, and having that constant reminder of how powerful you are is just going to help you in the future. And so she keeps hers on her desk. I wrote mine on that board back there so that anytime that I feel disconnected to it, I look at that board and I'm like, no, I'm a powerful motherfucker.
Yeah. And it's you. I mean, there's no like if, ands, or buts about it. It's you. Mm-hmm. And ain't no one's going to change that.
Yeah. And it just shows and proves that each person is unique. And even in your chart, like you look at your chart and a lot of people struggle to find purpose. They're like, I don't know what my purpose is. What's my purpose on this planet? I know I have a purpose. I don't know what it is, but you can literally find why the fuck you were put on this planet. It's your vocation. It's in one of the planets. It's a gate, right? And so even finding out that for a lot of people of like, oh, it just makes me feel like, and I was told from a young age, like every person was put on this planet for something, right? We weren't just put here to live mediocre lives. We were all put here with a purpose. Human design shows you that purpose in its most raw and authentic form.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for coming here.
I could literally talk all day about this shit.
I know, I could too. I'm like covered in goosebumps. I just shaved my legs and now all the hair is back on my legs because I shaved. And I have goosebumps this entire time.
I hate when that happens.
I love it though. You know,
goosebumps. I'm sweating over here because when I get passionate about shit, I start sweating. Like my face is turning red. And I'm like, oh, there we go.
Whew.
All that generator energy was just like heat.
Yeah, I love it. Well, did you drop your links in the thread in the group? And then if anyone has any questions, reach out to Amanda. She is incredible. You would not regret it. So.
Yeah, and like the master classes are definitely more of a generic first starting basis. So like if you're starting human design, look into the master classes to find out a little bit more information about your type. And then if you're interested in diving deep, I offer readings. But those are people who like, it's always best to get some knowledge first before diving into a reading because a reading is intense in the best way possible. So that would just be my suggestion. But yeah, I'll drop my links in here.
Perfect. Thank you so much, my love. And yeah, I had so much fun. I wish like it's like 40 minutes goes by and
it flies. Like, and it's so funny when you're talking about generators and Manny Gens, my little sign off here. When you are truly passionate about something, it literally lights you the fuck up. You have what's called the sacral center and it's defined. And so when you feel so in love with something, so passionate about something, it is literally like an energy that just shoots out of you. And so if you notice, like I get really hot, like I have to take off, like I get upper lip sweat like all the time because I get so into what I'm talking about. That's that sacral energy. So Manny Gens and generators, if like you're getting on live video or you're talking about something super passionate and you notice your voice increases really loud, you start getting really, really warm. That's your sacral battery, baby. And that's sexy as fuck.
I know. That's these interviews for me. It's like every Monday I'm like, yes, I get to talk with someone and just, because it's like, I just take in all of it. And it's just, I love people sharing their gifts because everyone is so different. And it's just, it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful experience to be in a group that like uplifts other women so much too, because even in the coaching industry or network marketing, competition can turn people against each other. So having a series like this that really uplifts other people is huge. And like, I just honor you for doing that because not a lot of women are comfortable and confident enough to do that.
Well, it's my favorite thing in the world. So my squirrel brain Manny Gen had to go with it.
I love it.
All right. Thank you so much for everyone that stayed on. I think we had like people on the entire time. So thank you. And we will see you soon.
Bye, guys.